life is artwork. You might not understand this. The way that I spit is like putting strokes on the canvas. Taking notes of all the urban cries. Put it down, materialize, then watch as the paint dries. Better bet the ink, cause every time I think it's time to keep afloat while these other cats sing. No Titanic, too overdrawn. I feel like new edition in the brain now. Tell me, can you stand it? With each word I'm building me a steeple. And if you open my works up, there you'll find my cathedral. You got your wood stains, a little glass paint, but it all tell a story, man. Think that it can't. Where I come from, it's deer hunters and street guns. So I spray these words like the Uzi weighs a ton. It's that heavy. I'm pouring this out from my heart to give you the truth the way that you see is art. Now you can tell by the voice that it ain't the truth. And everything that spit is just like a brush stroke. Paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture. Yo, this life's artwork. Now you can tell by the voice that it ain't a joke. And everything that it spit is like a brush stroke. Paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture. Yo, this life's artwork. My description, better yet my mission is to visualize and give the world vision. Work to heal the streets with a little audio heat. And smooth it all out over laid back beats. A to the R to the T, Wisco flow. Like you're in a gallery and see a Picasso. But this ain't Picasso, baby. Even though it's like Jay, cause it's gon' drive the world crazy. This is for those admiring and looking. I heat it up for Instagram and Pinterest cooking. It's so acrylic every time that I spit it. My foliage show that I all get it. Speaking of, this art get wows and awes. Like a masterpiece that's up in the halls. Everything is so realistic, but better yet, man, yo, it's so artistic. Cause now you can tell by the voice that it ain't a joke. And everything that spit is just like a brush stroke. Paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture. Yo, this life is artwork. Now you can tell by the voice that it ain't a joke. And everything that it spit is like a brush stroke. Paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture. Yo, this life is artwork. My glaze hand bring the pick on home. I'm just an artiste in the Midwest zone. Now it's a lot of cats that paint, but they ain't making art. Cause they be lying from the very start. So I make it a point that I paint what I feel. Cause I know deep inside what I feel is all real. And this exhibit don't end till I say so. Sincerely yours, Michael Tangelo. Now you can tell by the voice that it ain't a joke. And the way that it spit is like a brush stroke. Paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture. Yo, this life is artwork. Now you can tell by the voice that it ain't a joke. And the way that it spit is like a brush stroke. Paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture. Yo, this life is artwork. It's all artwork, baby. Welcome to my masterpiece, theater. Now you can go on and get a bootleg of it if you need to, you know what I'm saying?
We are the Real Bravado Network, and we address Black relationships from an image perspective. Image impacts and influences your life and life experiences. It also determines how you are treated and influence how people interact with you. Image is the reputation that you are known for, which includes your behaviors, your character, and your appearance. There's nothing more damaged than the image of the Black man in America. The Real Bravado Network's next phase of development with our live stream, Have the Conversation, will focus on his image. The Real Bravado Network will be asking, how can a Black man be a leader of his community and home when the vast majority of Black men have never been led? Leadership is taught and a skill that needs coaching, development, and refinement. Over the next few months, we will complete a forensic examination of his image. Please join the Real Bravado Network on YouTube, but we dare to be the bold, not silent.
But she's supermodel to me. I so take care of a man with an honest smile. Feather earrings in with a fly hairstyle. Play her status, professional on lock. But on the weekend, like to show the black girls ride. She eat me like Sunday morning, this is good as it gets. Whether in a dress or heels or she in chucks and sweats. Ghetto girls going good, that's the reason I love her. At the gym 5 times a week to get in, her tough mother. Word to Jeffrey Osborne, this is my love ballad. LTD encouraged me, got me munching on salad. And she even got me backing off the dude. I don't know about you, but that's what the real one to do. She don't like my late nights, but she respect my hustle. Put my head to her chest when she seeing the struggle. I know I'm blessed. They don't make many like her. She get a princess, man. I think I might wife.
My breath, my mind, my heart is so beauty, but it's so much more. She my destiny.
She got the best.
She bring the best to me.
She bring the best.
No need to wait another day when it's this way. I know she was sitting here to rescue me.
She got the best. She just too late. She got the best. I know it's a lot to deal with me. I love on how she keep it real with me. Cause it's a lot of thoughts to do what I say so. But she simply shake her head and she be like, no. I love her physical, respect her mental. Fact, she's so spiritual, ain't coincidental. Now we both got our feet on soil. I can't do nothing but thank the Lord we living as royals. I remember being a big dude with small seams. She helped me stretch it out and turn it into huge dreams. Thelma Evans, good, swear she my best friend. With my pockets tight, she get the car to the ATM. I love when we're alone, she give me selfie poses. I tell her I appreciate her and she dig it more than roses. If Eve came from Adam, then she my rib. I've been waiting for a good one, let's have some kids.
My breath, my mind, my heart is so beauty, but it's so much more. She my destiny.
She got that last.
She bring the best to me.
She got that last. She
no need to wait another day when it's this way. I swear she was here to rescue me.
She got that last. She got that last.
She took my breath, my love, my heart and soul. Beauty, but it's so much more. She my destiny.
She got that last.
She bring the best to me.
She got that last.
No need to wait another day when it's this way. I know she was sent here to rescue me.
She got that last.
She bring it just to life.
She got that last.
She took my breath, my mind, my heart and soul. Beauty, but it's so much more. She my destiny.
She got that last.
She bring the best to life.
She got that last.
No need to wait another day when it's this way. I swear she was sent here to rescue me.
She got that last.
She bring it just to me.
She got that last.
I'm a king, cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king, cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win, every day I get it in. I'm a king, and I will never knew. Plotting for my fall, you getting hanged for treason. I don't aim to please, do anything I feel. Haters gonna talk, don't listen to the shit. They tryna be like me, they know they can do. Can't even get loose, I'm on a pedestal, sitting on my throne. My neck be decked in gold, I don't do no hoes, I've got a queen though. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win, every day I get it in. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just.
All right, I'm just gonna cut that because we're not gonna.
We are the Real Bravado Network.
We're not gonna be on long. How you doing, Flo? Oh, hold on a second. I think I got you muted. We struggle streaming. Can't be struggle streaming around here. You there?
I can hear you. Hear me?
I hear you. Thank you for joining me at the last minute for tonight. Quick discussion. Normally I do like a long intro. Hold on. We are the Real Bravado Network, and this is Have the Conversation, okay? And we talk about Black relationships from an image perspective over here. My name is Tavares Moore. On the screen is Lady Flo. Yes. And we weren't set to come back to a live stream until next week with all the fellas, because right now we're doing a whole series dealing with Black men relationship issues from his image perspective and the things that we are doing that contribute to the fact that we're not together. But today I actually wanted to come on real quick and just have a real quick conversation about one thing in particular. So I was kind of thinking, Flo, this question, like over the last 4 streams with the guys, I talked about we talked about are Black men fit to lead? And I've kind of been hammering that question for like the last 4 streams that we've been doing is, are Black men fit to lead? And I've dealt with it from a variety of perspectives. But one of the things I want to talk about a little bit is this. Are we as Black men actually doing enough? And the reason why I came up with that question is I was actually talking to somebody last night about the George Floyd and what happened with George Floyd. And the fact of the matter is that his death happened because, in part because this man killed him. And then 2, there were Black men standing around watching it happen. And so when I talk about and think about our responsibility, not just to our women, our family, and all, what about our responsibility to our community? And I asked the question to the person. I was talking to an older lady. She was I think she said she was 66. And I asked her, would this have happened to another man in another community? Would they have allowed that cop to do what they did with somebody of their community down like that? And I'm hard pressed to think that any other man in any other culture would allow somebody, including a cop, to come in and just murder somebody right in front of them that hadn't done anything. So my question is, are we doing enough, Flo, as Black men to protect the community and protect our families?
I don't think that the police will go into another ethnic community and do the things they do to us. And remember the role we play in this community and how depreciated they treat us. So can we do more? Yes. Is always room to do more. As long as we are human beings, there are always room to grow, for each and everybody. If we all just do our part, it'll work. Can't put no pressure on here, there, or anywhere. All of us can do more to see to it that we can angle this stuff in a positive light, you know.
I don't know. So I just kind of think about that, and the fact, in conjunction with the fact that we are so divided, we're not together. We got our two camps. Men got their issues, and they're kind of like, with our women, and our women got whatever their issues are with the black men. And there's validation on both ends of this, but I've stated on multiple streams that each of us have to deal with the realities that we are contributing to this as a collective. We might not be doing it individually, but as a whole and as a collective, we are doing something about it. I got a guy on and I want to bring up real quick, and I want to kind of ask him. So I'll be right back with you. Okay, Flo?
Oh, okay, teacher.
Frederick.
Hey, what's
How
up?
you doing? Welcome, man. Welcome. Thank you for joining me at the last minute. Normally I get to promote and all this other stuff and try to get people to tune in and stuff like that. It was just kind of a last minute thing. But as you know, it just was on me to kind of come on and talk about this a little bit when I was wondering, are we, and you're with me with the group of fellas right now discussing our issues.
Right.
Do you think we're doing enough?
You know what? That is a wide sweeping question, which you would probably get a variety of answers from varying people. And the only reason I say it that way is because it can be interpreted as one way or not another. Now, me personally, if you were to ask me personally that question, I would say my answer would be yes and no.
Okay, you got to elaborate with that one a little bit.
Yes, because I think that a lot of us as men, especially black men, are doing the things to the best of our ability that we know how to do, given the circumstances that we're put up under, but also the resources that we have available. I would say no, because in some instances, especially when it comes to certain things or certain outcomes, it wouldn't be enough. Now, me saying no is not indicative of my personal thought process. It would be indicative on like the thought processes of the people that I've asked the same question to, because I saw your post on Facebook and I posed that question to a couple of people, primarily some sisters, and they were like, no, yeah, we're black men are not doing enough. And I asked them to elaborate, and they couldn't elaborate necessarily.
What do you mean? You asked them like to give some examples of what we're not doing enough of?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I asked. Now for me, that I can look at that from several aspects. I can look at it from a fatherhood perspective. I can look at it from a protection, provision, and procreation perspective. I can look at that from a traditional man versus traditional woman perspective. So I can look at that from a whole bunch of perspectives.
But I'm thinking about it in terms of a community thing. That's why I brought up the George Floyd thing. Just from a community, first of all, you have to have a safe community. Exactly. And a lot of people do not understand that the reason why this country actually have gun laws is because of a group of black men. Prior to the rise of the Black Panther Party, there were virtually no gun laws in this country. There was nothing really regulating the owning, carrying of firearms until you got the Black Panther Party openly walking around their neighborhoods and city council meetings, state council meetings, openly carrying in these places. And if somebody got pulled over by the police, the Black Panther parties, they were there. They would actually like stand across the street or away from them, but they would be fully armed. They would never be. They would be displaying like their rifles and everything. They would never be pointing them at them or anything like that. They would just sit there and observe. And you didn't have all of this stuff. And then because they were, the Black Panther Party was such. They raised so much fear in the white lexicon. They started passing all of these gun, regulations. And a lot of people think that the gun regulations,
open carry,
all of this stuff was all about, taking firepower out of the hands of actually Black men. So when I say, are we doing it from a community perspective? I said to the woman that I was talking to, 66 years old, so she's a couple generations above me, and I said to her, I don't know. I would like to think that I'm wired to not allow that to happen in front of me. And she said, you will lose your life with him. And then I said to her, so be it.
I would agree with that. I would most definitely agree with you on that.
So,
because like you said, when we talk about community, we're talking about a large swath of people. Not only we're not talking about our parents and our grandparents, we're talking about our brothers, our sisters, and our relatives, but also we're talking about people outside, even outside of that, people that we work with, people that we're neighbors to, people that we share the same block or the same city with. So
yeah,
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. So if I gotta roll over and die for my community, so be it. But to answer your question about the community part of it,
is there enough of us willing to do that?
No. And I'm gonna be honest with you. No, because the reason I say that is because a lot of people will bark about what they're willing to stand up for, what they're willing to die for, but when it comes to the practical applications of what the words you speak, then those words ring hollow, because if you're gonna tell me you're gonna die for an ideal or die for a community, then I'm gonna believe you. I'm gonna take you at your word and believe you for that. But if you're gonna say that and then you fold, no, that's a problem.
Yeah, and back to, remember we did our stream, and those that might watch this later, we did the stream called what's it called? Black Men Can't Lead. Our Black Men Cowards. It was like two or three streams ago. That goes back to that question: Are we just flat out cowards? And then to the bigger question, I see I watch a lot of platforms talk about these issues, and I understand a lot of our popular Black YouTube platforms, and they talk about the behaviors and the controlling and the mindset and of our women, then which is fair. It's fair. We spent 4 months dealing with that stuff ourselves.
Yeah.
But my question comes back to, then, as Black men, are we in a position to be able to demand anything? So if you're not willing, can you I mean, if you're gonna fold, and let's keep it a buck, Frederick, a lot of Black men fold with their own women. Won't know that their women are out of control, knowing their women are trying to do something that's contrary to progression within the relationship or within the household, and they back down, and their women just run. We got too many of our men who won't even stand up to our own women, and then we ask these women to follow us.
But that goes to a lack of accountability.
Follow what? Yep. Follow what? What is there to follow when you won't even? I mean, we did that stream. Are we our grandfathers kind of men? Those men, the civil rights era men, they did what I'm talking about right now, which they died. They died for the protection of the community, for not just their own families, but for every single person in a generation that came after. And this is the quality of man. Now, we can get into the conversations, which we will get into. We're going to get into why there is this quality, where we are now as quality of men, and why we're not there. We're going to get more into that into detail. But I do have another question for you.
Shoot.
Oftentimes you hear me quote a statistic from blackdemographics.com.
Right.
And that statistic is 52 to 54% of Black men are single, childless, and earn enough money to be in the middle class.
Right.
If you got the majority, and that represent 54% is the majority. It's not the minority of Black men, it's the majority of us. If you got the majority of Black men who has no familial investment in the community, what does that say? Meaning they don't have because they're single, they ain't got no woman, they ain't got no children, they earn enough money to take care of themselves. How do we encourage those 54% of Black men to take an interest in coming in? Because what we're going to get into when we get back together next week with the men, Frederick, we're going to talk about that 54% of Black men and what they're obligated for. So how can we, what community we got when we have the vast majority of our Black men that don't have an investment into us?
There are reasons. There are a plethora of reasons why they may not want to even have an investment in that, and some of those reasons could be as to what they're seeing with Black women. That to me that would be one obvious reason, because of what they're seeing with Black women, but also just I think. And this is just kind of sort of like the social media circles that I run around and I run with, and some of the folks that I talk to are very on Clubhouse and stuff like that. I mean, I've heard gentlemen, Black men say that they don't want to involve themselves with Black women because of the simple fact of what they see, what the things that they see in Black women, the lack of accountability, the masculinity that's displayed in them and things of that nature. And I'm not saying that because I stand behind those dudes, because I don't. But at the same time, how can you encourage a percentage of men that are childless and represent part of the middle class
and don't got a woman
and don't got a woman? How do you encourage those guys to involve themselves in something when they see that would involve themselves in, and also speak to the positive nature of that when they see the opposite on social media, or when they hear about it on other social media sites, or even if they see that in their own community or their own neighborhood, or even in their own
family. I asked a question last week. I did a solo stream last week, Frederick, and I asked the question, I lost my thought because I'm looking at the time. I don't want to stay on, but this stream right here, these conversations, and in conjunction with a few other things, is what we're going to be dealing with moving forward with the men. Right. Yes, and I'm going to state this over and over again, and it's kind of hard because I kind of got accused of jumping men right now, but I'm thinking to myself, you guys weren't around for the first 4 months when I was dealing with the women.
Right.
And the women handled it like some champs. And we had a couple on where it was I wouldn't say heated, but there was a little back and forth, a little disagreement about some stuff, and it got towards the end of the women's section of our live stream. They were kind of getting tired of me hammering them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm hammering the guys out the rip because men are supposed to be mentally and emotionally more sturdy for that kind of a thing. And not to take away from the man's perspective that Black men have, regardless of our women believe, accept this or not, our men have a certain feeling about our women right now, which is especially the so-called better versions of the men, is that we're disposable or we're only cleanup men. But I asked the question.
I saw that post, bro. I saw that. I was like,
but here's the thing. Given what we display and what we put out, and our lack of backbone in a lot of areas within. We are losing. Oh, we're going to get into this next week, and I don't want to jump the gun. The 54% of black men, who's supposed to be the best of us or whatever, we're losing out to the worst of our men. How does that make you feel? You should feel some type of way as a man. If you are out here, for the most part, doing things somewhat the right way. And we're not talking about the fact that you are human, you make mistakes, you're going to put your foot in your mouth, you might not make the best decision all the time, but just generally speaking, you're doing what's supposed to be done to receive your reward, which is a quality woman. And then you're losing out to some bum who barely washes face, who live in his mother's basement. You're losing out to that dude. That should feel, you should feel some type of way about your manhood. Because like, how do you lose out to a loser?
I ain't gonna lie to you. I do feel a way about that. But at the same time, you know, at the same instance, I'm secure enough in my manhood to know that it ain't me. It's the choices that everybody that those women make. So they have to be accountable for that.
Frederick, we gonna get into that next week. I don't know. Flo, you got anything to say? We're gonna wrap this up because I don't want to be, because we can keep pounding. Anything you want to say about what me and Frederick been talking about?
We can go all day, brother.
Hey, y'all got it. It's his image at this moment. Y'all got it.
Come on, sis, you got something now. Come on now.
I mean, most of the time I'm very opinionated. So,
State your opinion.
I mean, I think on both ends, we can point fingers all day long. What women choose, what men choose, we all choose. When it comes down to the ending, my bottom line to the ending of this, that as an individual, you got to choose what's best for you. You got to take time to get to know a person before you even dive in, so you can know you're picking the person for you. Can't meet a person the way they are and expect them to change if they don't want to. We got to soul search. You got to meet, because trust me, if you search, you'll find somebody for you. I don't really go off of statistics. And I know statistics. I know statistics is there for a reason, but that can angle in a certain way. For instance, how many women can get away from a child not being attached to them? How many? Not too many.
Exactly.
Because we have them. But do you know how many men can walk away from their responsibility? Do you know how many men? Do you know how many men are not even being reliable for those statistics? So how can the statistic be right when they're not gonna add in? There are too many of them walk away. Man, I don't want that, baby. Get fine. Too many men walk away. So for me, statistics can weigh like a scale.
And that's what I talk about. The majority of our good men are losing out to those kind of men, and I want to deal with why is that happening? Why has that happened, especially over the course of Generation X and Generation Y?
I'm gonna tell you why.
I want you to hold it, Flo. I want you to hold it because we're going to deal with it next week.
Okay.
Yeah, I want you to hold it because we're going to
hold that one. Hold that
part of next week. Hopefully we'll work it out. And if need be, because I know your schedule's kind of tight, Flo. If need be, you and I will find a day to record it. If you can't be on that day, we'll find a way to record it, and I'll put it into the show. Okay. Into the live stream, and we'll react. We will react to it. You guys just sit back for a second, okay?
Yes.
All
right, everybody. So this was just a quick get in, get out, and also I got a new camera, so I wanted to kind of also test out my new camera and see how I like it. And it looks okay. It looks absolutely okay. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of go over that a little bit. That was just kind of a extension of a conversation I was having last evening with the nice lady that was of my mother or my father's generation, and it's just food for thought. Are we, as Black men, are we really doing enough? And I know the argument about why Black men are checking out or not investing in, and are looking at a lot of the behaviors and the attitudes and the mindset of our women. I give all of that fair business. You know what I mean? That's fair game for the guys to feel that way. But if we call ourselves the man, and we call ourselves the head, and we call ourselves the lead, and we're the hunters, and we're supposed to be as men the conquerors, that we're supposed to conquer. How come we as Black men haven't decided to conquer this messed up situation? I think it can be done if there's a shift in the mind and the behaviors of the men. I don't know, but this is why we're having these discussions here on Have the Conversation, okay? All right, so I am going to wrap it there. We are back with our regular stream next Thursday, I believe it is, whatever the 17th is. We are back with our full panel of our men. We're going to be talking about, next week, we're going to be talking about, here we go, we put up on the screen. Are Black men, are we winning or losing this fight? And we're going to get into some of the stuff in more detail about what we kind of went over today. All right. I had a couple people watching from the mastermind class and giving me good advice. And thank you guys. I appreciate that. And you'll give me some good feedback on this short one today. And we'll see you guys on our next stream. Okay. All right. Here we go.
I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king and I will never knew. Plotting for my fall, you getting hanged for treason. I don't aim to please, do anything I feel. Haters gonna talk, don't listen to the shit. They tryna be like me, they know they can, yo. Can't even get lost. I'm on a pedestal, sitting on my throne. My neck be decked in gold. I don't do no ghosts, I've got a queen though. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king, I told you guys before. Ready for the war, to get me way much more. Gather all this spoils, add them to my kingdom. Shout out to my fans for pledging your allegiance. You get a reward, the best flow you've ever heard. I don't be mixing with birds, I'm a lion on the surge. Always pushing to the edge, facing arrows, never scared. For my greatness I'ma serve, and only under myself